October is Small Business Month, and a recent survey by TD Insurance shows that nearly 1/3 of business owners cite rising operation costs as their top challenge. That's up from 29% last year. Joining us now to chat about insurance is our partner and consumer finance contributor, Barry Choi, with some tips to support aspiring entrepreneurs. So good morning, Barry.
Good morning. Good to be back.
Great to have you. So let's just start with the beginning. Where does an entrepreneur need to start these days?
It's got to be a business plan. When I was thinking about changing jobs, quitting my full-time job, I was like, I need a business plan. I'm a freelance writer, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to figure out where I want to write for. What my expected income, because it's tough as a freelancer. So the business plan doesn't need to be difficult. Think about who you're going to market to, what services and products you're going to offer, what your expected income and expenses are going to be. Now, some people don't use a business plan. That's fine, but you're going to be freestyling, and that's not good for everyone.
No, for sure. Okay, so new business owners, they're thinking about cash flow, but I have heard that insurance is also something they need to consider. Is that true?
That's right. According to that TD Insurance study, 94% of business owners have insurance, but only 52% use it when there's an emergency. Now, I know that may sound odd, but the reality is not every business has the right insurance. What I mean by that is, think about a coffee shop or a bakery owner. They will naturally know to get insurance to cover their contents and their storefront. And probably they also know to get liability insurance in case a customer hurts themselves in their store. But what happens if a pipe bursts and you lose income because you have to close your store? That's where business interruption insurance comes into place, because it can replace some of your income and possibly cover some of your expenses. This is why it's so important to talk to a TD Insurance licensed advisor. They can go over different policy insurances, they can customize it for you, and explain any questions that you may have.
Okay, yes, so that's important to talk to somebody to figure out the kind of insurance you need. I know you had an example of how insurance saved your bacon in your business. Can you share that with our viewers?
Yeah, so me personally, it's weird. As a freelancer, you don't realize that you need different types of insurance. So when I was onboarding a new client, they said, hey, do you have a liability insurance as a writer? I need $1 million with an insurance. I was like, that sounds nuts to me, because at the time I was new, it was very foreign to me. I called up my TD Insurance advisor and said, hey, what do I need here? And they kind of explained why I needed it, and it was very clear to me. And it actually made sense to me to get additional insurance, so I'm glad I spoke to them. So a lot of people think about insurance as getting it as cheap as possible, and that's not what you want to do. You want to get the right policy that protects you as your business grows, because you spend so much time building your business, you don't want to mess things up. So if you go to tdinsurance.com/smallbusiness, you can get a quote online, you can request a licensed advisor reach out to you, or you can even learn more about small business insurance in general.
Okay, we got about a minute left, Barry. So what would you say to a business owner who, you said operating costs are rising and that concerns a lot of businesses. What would you say to a business owner who's like, well, I'm not going to spend the money on insurance because I've already got a bunch of expenses?
Well, that's the tricky part with the insurance, right? So there are some things that are priority, and this is what I was saying about you need to speak to a licensed advisor, because understandably, if you're a new business owner, and like you said, money is tight, certain insurance policies will be nice to have, but not a priority. And I can't answer that for you, and that's why you've really got to speak to a licensed TD Insurance advisor, because you want to speak to an expert, because there's so many different scenarios, and you just don't want to be caught off guard. Again, you've built your business, you put your life into it. Why would you want to mess things up?
Yeah, I mean, that's what insurance is for. It's for one of those unforeseen emergencies. Barry, thank you so much for this advice.
No problem, anytime.
We put a link to more information for entrepreneurs on our website as well.